This week, the Justice Department, they are issuing a directive. What is the directive? To change existing rules about any law enforcement under the DOJ to intervene if they witness use of excessive force or mistreating people in custody. The directive was posted on their website Monday. Good for them. This rule actually only applies to federal police officers. Let me tell you why that's a nothing burger for me. The stories that we report on Indisputable, typically do not involve a federal police officer shooting an unarmed black person. Has it happened? Of course it has. We're trying to make sure that it's all encompassing, all right? Everybody, all cops have to rise to a new level, a higher level of accountability and responsibility. This does not do that. Some call it a step in the right direction, all right? It's the policy of the Department of Justice to value and preserve human life, Garland wrote in the 4-page memo. Officers may use only the force that is objectively reasonable to effectively gain control of an incident while protecting the safety of the officer and others. Remember, this only applies to federal officers. It's the first time the Department of Justice, DOJ, has changed the use of force policy in 18 years. Officers must recognize and act upon the affirmative duty to intervene, to prevent or stop as appropriate any officer from engaging in excessive force or any other use of force that violates the Constitution, other federal laws, or department policies in or on the reasonable use of force. It will apply to who? U.S. Marshals, the FBI, Drug Enforcement Administration, the Federal Bureau of Prisons, and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. The DOJ cannot make requirements to local law enforcement that would take an act of Congress to stop police violence. Let me help you out here. DOJ, President of the United States. You guys are great at telling us, give you more power, you can change things. Well, I did some research here. You actually can change things with the current power that you have. You can literally stop federal dollars from going to every police agency who decides to violate the rights of members in that community. You have the authority to do that today. It does not require an act of Congress. Hell, it doesn't even require anyone to agree with your directive. Just like you created this directive about other law enforcement agencies in the federal government, you can create a directive for the budget and defund police agencies, local, city, county, and even state agencies that are adversarial and antithetical to the communities they serve. But you're unwilling to do that. You want us to believe you have no power. You have the power to change. That purse string is your power. Use it. Also, this is what's going to happen today on the 2nd anniversary of George Floyd's murder. President Biden is set to sign an executive order on police reform this afternoon. The order will include a new use of force requirements and create a new national law enforcement accountability database to keep track of misconduct claims and disciplinary records of officers, but only for federal officers. It also encourages local police departments to make similar changes and contribute to the database, but the order does not legally apply to them. Here's the other thing. Guess what? I did some more research here, Dave. They can make it, the federal government can make it a requirement in order to obtain the normative federal dollars that you benefit from, that your community may benefit from. You must voluntarily sign up for the database. That is a prerequisite. They can do that right now, they choose not to.
Voluntarily. You know, my initial reaction to the DOJ memo was that it wasn't worth the paper that it was written on. Yeah. However, when you're talking about brutality, the Attorney General gave up the game here. He said, gain control of an incident. And that's the key, because that tells you police in the United States are trained to gain control. That's a problem, because there are a lot of ways you can gain control. It's not just through physical force.
That's right.
You can use de-escalation to calm down a situation to gain control. And if the Department of Justice is really concerned about police brutality, then they should be spending their money and resources on training these local police departments on how to de-escalate. It's not just escalate to take control. It's not just dominate people. It's not just use excessive force. No, there are other ways you can protect police. You can protect your citizens by calming everybody down. And until our police realize says that should be one of their institutional goals. We have a clear institutional problem in America with policing.
Yeah, that's right. And here's the other thing. They want to keep saying that they have no jurisdictional authority over police officers. That's not true. The federal government has what's called concurrent jurisdiction, meaning many of the crimes committed, that state can prosecute. If the federal government really wanted you that bad, they can prosecute too.
Yeah.
Typically, you do not get the double whammy, but for some high profile cases you do. Police officers do not have a special protection in the US Constitution. Police officers do not have a special federal statutory protection. Literally, if a person can be prosecuted for a crime by the federal government, so can a cop. The only reason why that does not happen is because of culture, not policy. It's because of culture, not statute. It's because of culture, not constitution.